Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We are here with day 4 of the Tea Boutique series, and today's project is super awesome. You're going to love it. Housekeeping. This is a list of everything that I used. If you go back to week 1, which is the tea and card box combo, I will show you everything in the annual catalog, page by page. You can see it. I am going to put this in the description box down below. This is everything that I use for the entire week, not necessarily specifically just this project, but everything will be down in the description box. Okay. Definitely reach out to me if you want to order anything that you see here, and you know, we can get that sorted out for you. And let's look at our project because I'm super excited. So of course it's a box. Boxes are my favorite. But look what is inside. Cookies, biscuits. Okay, so these are the big pack of the Milanos. I know last month I did the small box of Milanos. I got these from Dollar Tree, I want to say. So these are the ones. Oh, they're about to expire, so I need to eat them. Any excuse, right? Excuse me. Alright, so these ones are roughly 2 3/4 by, well, the box ends at 6, but if you go with all the packaging, you see here it's a little like 7.5. So I did the measurements by the, well, I did one by the box, one by the wrapping. So I took the measurements as 3 1/4 by 7.5 is what I measured this specifically to be, and that's how I built my box. Okay, so I'm just putting everything back in the box. Here's my little cheat sheet. See how I built my box? And at first I thought you needed a bigger sheet of paper, but we're good with 8.5 by 10.5. Because I didn't want to have to use the 12 by 12 paper just to get that 1/4 of an inch measurement. So we're going to use a piece of paper that is 8.5 by 10.5. Okay, so 8.5 by 10.5. 8.5 by 10.5. Okay, we're going to score it at, move everything over and give us some more room. Alright, and you know what I keep forgetting on my U-Pick tool? I do have the pieces to make this actually a scoring tool. So one side is a spatula, one side is a pokey tool, and then you switch it out with, you can hear, I don't know which drawer it's in, so there we go. Here's the box. You can switch it out with your stylus. So you just click it, and then there is an extra putty piece in there with it. You get 2 putty pieces. So yeah, so I forgot all about it until I was watching, I don't know what I was watching, something, and I was like, oh man, I can use this as my scoring tool. Okay, so on our 8.5 by 10.5 piece of paper, we are going to put the long side, so put the 10.5 side at the top of your scoreboard, and we're going to score it at 3/4, 1.5, 9, and 9 3/4. Okay, so that's 3/4, 1.5, 9 3/4, or excuse me, 9, and then 9 3/4. Okay, that just says Milano box because I was keeping my paper sorted out. All right, go ahead and put the short side on the top. We're going to score at 3/4, 4, 4 3/4, and 8. Okay, so your little tab over here is going to be smaller than your left tab, which is fine. When you put the box together, that is going to be perfectly a-okay, because we're going to cover it anyway, and we don't have to use that 12 by 12 paper. Alright, so just like all my other boxes you've seen me do, we're going to go ahead and cut some stuff off, okay? I'm going to make that little, the 1/2 inch tab, I'm going to make that my tab. So I'm going to cut everything from the right. It doesn't really matter what size you cut with, but that just keeps me organized. Okay, so if you have your smaller tab to the right, we don't need this box, we don't need that box, we don't need this rectangle, we don't need this rectangle, and we don't need this tiny little square there. So I'm going to take my scissors, and however this is easiest for you, I'm just going to go up, and I'm going to cut all of this off. I'm going to go ahead and cut up the score line and cut that box off. And I'm going to miter this guy while I'm here. I'm going to do this fairly quickly because you guys seen me make boxes before. So cut up that score line and take off that first box. Okay. And that and that. Alright, so you got something that looks like this on the bottom. Now we're going to do the same thing on the top, okay? So you're going to do the same thing to the same side. So on, what is going on here? My camera keeps falling and then it's not falling. So see how we cut off that? So on the top we're going to cut off that same bits. So we don't need that, we don't need that. We don't need that, we don't need that, we don't need that, we don't need that. Okay? That's what we're doing here. And you can cut it in whatever order makes sense to you. Some people like to cut up all of the tab score lines first and then go in and do everything else. I just go for it. I don't really have a preference. The only time I have a preference is when I'm doing tutorials. Alright, so we're good with that, right? We're going to go ahead and put our paper back to this position where the little tab is to the right. And we're going to go ahead and just miter those corners. And that's it. Okay? And we're going to burnish and burnish. And you guessed it, burnish. Obviously it doesn't matter if you varnish before or after you cut, just as long as varnishing gets done, especially when you're using the heavier cardstock, which I definitely do recommend. I do personally prefer Stampin' Up! Cardstock. I've tried a lot of different brands, and Stampin' Up! Is my favorite. Not just because I sell it, but I sell it because it's one of my favorites. But I've tried a ton of them, and it just, I don't know, it just always seems to work for me. So, yeah. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just fold that piece in, and you can run your glue, or you can run your tape. I don't know where my glue is, so I have my tape right here. Whatever adhesive whatever strong adhesive you have. If you have the Terran tape or the glue, whatever you have, right? Okay. So, and then you're just going to put your box together. You're going to match your sides. Now, see how it's smaller, so I didn't have to cut any piece off. But I still need to make sure that it's lined up properly. And you would never know that that inside flap is smaller than the outside because we covered it up. There you go. The one step I did forget was to round my corners, but it's not a big deal. Use whatever corner rounder you have on hand, and you're going to cut the sides. Now, I can already tell that mine is a little bit too long because I have some of the score mark in there. So what's going to happen is when I try to close my box, see, it doesn't go, oh, okay, it went in smoothly and called me a liar. But normally if you have too much of the side, it won't go in. This one went in just fine, even though it's too long. Okay, well, there's that. But in the case of yours doesn't go in nicely, then just, you know, trim a tiny bit at a time off until it fits in your box as snug as you want it to go. All right. You can seal the bottom of your box if you want to, like, you know, make it so it cannot open. If you want it to do that, you're just going to run your glue or your tape on the flap, and then now it's giving me a hard time. And then add it in and seal it. I like to be able to mail them flat if you have to, you know, you can do that. So all right, let's do some decorating here. Now, what I did on this is I paper pieced, because obviously this is not going to fit. This is a 6x6 piece of paper, and this is 7.5 inches long. So what I did was I just paper pieced. Where's a ruler? I cut my paper down to 5 3/8 by 3 1/8. All right, so I'm gonna do, where's my paper trimmer? My desk is clean, so I don't know where anything is. All right, so I'm gonna cut it at 3 1/8. And then 5 and something, I said. 5 and, I don't know, I'm just going to call it 5 1/4, because I'm not trying to math. There we go. 5 1/4, maybe a little bit more. Whatever you want. And then I'm going to save this little piece, because I just cut it down to fit on the top of the box. So it looks like it's supposed to be that way, but I just did not want to cut any more paper, and, you know, I just want to use one. So there you go. No, it's not the right piece. So you can gauge how you want. That's just how I particularly paper pieced. This is going to be a little bit harder because it's color on color, but that's okay. All right, and I think I'm going to make this, I want this whole strip here. Yeah, why not? All right, glue. And obviously you can block it how you would like. If you want the whole length and then just block the top or block the bottom, you know, whatever your heart desires, that is what you're going to do. This one's going to be a little bit different. Whenever I'm at like stamp camps or, you know, card class, whatever, mine always come out different than the example. And it's even coming out different than my own example that I made up. So there you go. Okay. And then we're going to put this down. I'm going to butt it up against it. You can leave a border if you like. Whatever your heart desires. It's also a great way to show both sides of the paper. Or you can mix and match whatever you have in your scraps. And I like wet glue for this because, as you can see, I have that wiggle room so I can match it exact where I need it to go. And then I'm just going to block it here with what's left. So we have roughly, let's see, I'm going to do this at 1 3/8. So again, yours is going to be different measurements, however you want to mat yours. Wait a second. I need to turn mine this way. So I need that measurement to be 3/8, right? Alright, so 3/8. And then I need 1 3/8. 1 3/8. Alright. Yep, that's what I needed. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and glue it up. Put it together. Make it match as best as you can. Okay. Now our pieces. I went ahead and cut the pieces out of scraps I had from the collection, and so this one I did use that side, and I used some garden green leaf things, sprigs I think they're called, I don't know, and I'm using the crushed curry flowers. Alright, so I'm gonna find my glue, and I'm just gluing a bead of glue on the back of the teacup. I'm gonna add my sprigs, tea leaves, or whatever these are, green stuff, foliage on the back. It's late at night, guys, I'm tired. And then I'm gonna pop it up with some dimensionals. Don't forget to use your dimensional edges. Oh gosh, this is pattern on pattern. I can't see what I'm doing. Alright. And then I need another half a piece from a handle. Okay. Alright, so you can place your teacup, obviously, wherever you want. I'm just going to do mine kind of the same as this one. I'm not going to put it on the plaid and plaid. I'm going to put this one in the middle. Like so. Like it's floating in the air. Why not? And then I'm going to add bits of color here. So just like this one, I added the little tiny ones on the top here. So we're going to do the same using the putty side, the pokey tool thing. Oh my gosh. I stamped these first with the little leaf stamp, which I'll show you in a second, and then I cut them out with the die. Easies, right? Okay. There we go. That's the placement that I like. And then I added one kind of here, and the other one I'll add in a second. Oops. And the other one I just kind of added down here. You can be more precise with your glue if you want, but as you can see, it is not going to be bothered like so. It's really pretty. You can add another sentiment to your cup. Like this one's kind of plain, so we may add, you know, maybe a different sentiment or maybe some more gems. We do what we want. All right, I need my pokey tool back on, so I just switched these out because I need my gems. Okay, so let's just do basic rhinestones. And let's take a little one. We're going to put a little one here. We're going to put a little one here, like so. We're going to float some in the air because it's ours. I'm going to take a big one. I'm going to float it. And I'm going to float. That's all I'm going to do for right this second because I want to do our sentiment because I just almost forgot. So here's sentiment. I stamped it in real red. And now I'm just going to banner cut it. So I'm going to take my paper snips and banner cut it. Paper snips. And how you banner cut, you can use the fancy punches, but this is kind of small. So I'm just going to cut a slit down the middle, cut on the diagonal, cut on the diagonal, and call it done. Okay. Now you can pop that up if you want, or you can lay it flat, or you know, whatever you want to do. You can add it to a real red piece of cardstock. If you're doing these for craft shows, you know, less is more, because like I said in previous videos, whenever you sell your stuff at craft fairs, it's not necessarily to crafty people, and so more than likely they are just going to take the treat and toss the box. So you don't want to use up all your supplies. If I was doing these for craft fairs, I probably would just stick with these 2 gems and call it done. You know, that's what I would personally do. But I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one in there. A little medium one there. Not good. I like odds. Sometimes I do even, but today I'm an odd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's good enough. I like it. You can, I mean, you can continue to add as many gems as you want, obviously. But that is it for 20 minutes. Super fun, super easy. Let me show you the dies and the stamps. So I use these to cut out all those little flowers. These flowers here, the little tiny ones, so you get all of them at the same time. And I used the solid teacup die, which is that one there, because I cut out the pattern paper side, and I used the sentiment, thank you for your friendship, and obviously the leaf things, the sprigs and whatnot. You guys can see what I used. Alright, I know I didn't eat those cookies. Where did they go? I probably put them back in. I only had one pack because my little helper ate the other pack, so it's all good. Alright, and there are your, oh, you can do the finger pull if you would like, you know, to kind of make it a little easier. All you have to do is take your whatever size circle punch. This is my 3/4 inch old whale tail style Stampin' Up! Punch that I've had for 16 plus years. Gonna go in the center, do about half. Punch it in. I do have a punch that puts that tab in there, but it's so deep, so that's why I like to use this. And let me put our snack back in there. And obviously this box is good for anything. You can put, you know, you can fill it up with all kind of candies and treats. Oh, you know, it'd be really pretty with this. Would have been some twine. It'd have been really cute to put twine on the bottom here. But you know what we can do? If I can find it. I have the little effects. Here it is. Shimmer effects. It's in the catalog too. And you can just add some effects to it. Like you make your own little thing. You can add little dots here and there if your heart so desires. Or you can add ribbon. I just don't have a lot of ribbon. I typically don't craft with ribbon. but on this case, it would have looked absolutely amazing with ribbon. So anyway, that is the project, guys, and I cannot wait for you to see tomorrow's project. It is super cool, and yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.